we can make our spirits stronger. And so the fasting that we do at our territory is up at the mounds in Tobique First Nation. And Elder Gwen Bear was the one who brought that fasting in actually 20 years ago, 1996, we started fasting there. And so this year it'll be my 20th year there. And I'm looking forward to it. It's this month, and there's an array of people coming. It's mixed. It's males, females, young girls, young boys, couples. It's just going to be amazing. And so what we do is we do a 4-day fast. So those who start fasting 1 day, 1 year, the next year they do 2 days, the third year they do 3, and then the fourth year they do 4. The reason we don't start them off 4 right off the bat is we want them to be committed to passing it on to others, so they help those ones who are just starting. So how our fast goes this year, for example, the 4-dayers will go in first, but the ones who don't go in yet will be helping around the fire, making sure the sacred fire is going the full 4 days, making sure we have enough firewood, helping build the sweat lodge, picking medicines as we need it while the 4-dayers are fasting. Then when the 3-dayers go in, the 2-dayers and the 1-dayers will be doing the work. And then when the 2-dayers go in, the 1-dayers are there, making sure that everything is going. So it's a real communal, cooperative time to teach each other that we have to be interdependent. We can't just do it. So when we build our lodges, for those that are coming for the first time, we don't let them bring tents right away. We want them to build their own lodge so that they'll know how to build a lodge in case there's a time they're lost in the woods. And of course, there's not that many woods left anymore. We're always close to highways or trucking routes or whatever, so we have less of that forest today than it was when I was a child. But anyways, so they build their lodge. Second year they can bring a tent if they want, but we don't just tell everybody, go put your tents up. What we do is we go to the eldest one and everybody helps that eldest one. And then we go to the next eldest, and then we go to the child at first. So it teaches the child about responsibility of not being selfish, but taking care of others first, which is a really important teaching. And then a sacred fire is lit. There has to be somebody at that sacred fire all the time. There's another fire that's built for the sweat lodge on site. There'll be a bowl of berries at the fire, sacred fire, and a big bowl of medicine, which will have sage, sweetgrass, tobacco, and cedar. And so during those 4 days, if the bowl is empty, somebody has to start preparing the medicine to make sure there's always medicine there. So there's things to do at each phase. But the reason that the tobacco is there is to make an offering to the 4 directions, to ask for stamina to be able to withstand the hunger and the thirst that you may be feeling. And the berries are there to honor that stamina, because bear is symbol of stamina. So I tell people when they're hungry to take a spoonful of berries and put them into the fire and ask for forgiveness for your hunger, so that you're feeding others who aren't fasting that are hungry, you know. And as we know, we hear about people not having enough food. So that's what the berries are for. And trust me, for a child, I remember 1 year, this 9-year-old, he goes, can I just take one, half of one? Can I just kind of put it to my mouth? I says, no, you know, then you'll break your fast. You don't want to break your fast. You want to sacrifice. So just put it into the fire and ask the fire to take your hunger. Anyways, it worked. And he goes, you know what, that worked. And so I could see him every once in a while going in and offering berries to the fire, and which is, you know, a good sacrifice for a young child. Actually, that child's coming back this year and doing 2 days. And look forward to watching just a change in his thinking as a young man. So we do that. We do our sweat lodges. We have the burial site. We do ceremony, and on that solstice, we do those 4 pipe ceremonies. So we do one when the sun sets, and again at the midnight. And then that completes that honoring of those 4 phases of the day for solstice, to welcome the ancestors that have come to watch us, so they'll see that we're still carrying on with our work. So the next moon is Upsquegizo's feather shedding moon. You know, and of course the Passamaquoddy is called the Achite, you know, meaning ripening. So the strawberries, the raspberries, you know, are beginning to ripen. The Mi'kmaq call it the birds shed feathers moon, and so that's because they're going on a 12 moon, not a 13 moon. So Upsquegizo's feather shedding moon and stuff, and so feathers are earned. Sometimes you're one of the lucky ones when you're walking along the woods and you see a feather and you go, wow, look at that. And there's a reason. It's not by accident that that feather happened to be in your path. There's a reason why that feather was meant for you, because I've been in places where I've walked with people and they haven't seen the feathers, but they'll be right in front of us. So it just teaches you that the feather was meant to be for the one who sees the feather. And there's an important story about how wisdom comes. And how wisdom comes, it tells a story about a postman who was envious of an elder who, every time he'd go and put the mail in the mailbox, he'd look in the big picture window and he'd see this elder sitting on the couch holding an eagle feather. And he would see people coming in to bring him gifts and asking the elder for advice. And so the more he witnessed it, the more he wondered, all that elder does is sit with an eagle feather. So I'm not sure why people are bringing him gifts and asking him for, you know, advice. So he decided he was going to go in the woods and find himself an eagle feather so that he could have that kind of respect that this elder was getting. So he kept going into the woods to look for that feather, but never could find one. Eventually, this one day, he goes in and he gives up and he goes, all right, Creator, obviously I'm not deserving of a feather. I've been coming here years to try to find an eagle feather and I haven't found one yet, so obviously I'm not worthy of one. So I give up. I'm going to go apologize to my family for neglecting them all these years. I've spent my time looking for this elusive eagle feather. So just as he turned around to walk back to his car, there was a shadow, and he looked up, and one eagle feather was coming from this big eagle. And so he picked it up. He didn't have to say anything. He just said, thank you, and put it in his car, drove home, and from the car to his front door, he was carrying his eagle feather, and all of a sudden somebody tapped him on the shoulder. Sir, I see you have an eagle feather. Would you help me with a problem that I have? Here's some tobacco. And so the moral of the story is, you don't have to look for wisdom. Wisdom comes to you. And so that's what happened to that man. So he kind of wasted his time because he wanted that, respect, and he wanted that wisdom. But he had it when he was humble enough to admit, that he carried it even without the eagle feather. But that's why the eagle feather is so important to us. It's like a degree, and stuff. I remember in July we do sun dancing in Elsie Buktuk, and the Blackfoot elder brought the teachings to our territory. And I remember after fasting there, my first year of sun dancing, and I went back to work at the university, but I felt that I earned more degrees than I possibly could at the university. You go 4 years for a degree and 4 years for your master's, or 6, and then longer for a doctorate. But just doing ceremony, like the Sundance and the fasting, it's that feeling I think people have when they're going across to pick up their diploma, because that's what you do, is you start to earn insight. You start to earn the right to see beyond what's in front of you. You earn the right to hear ancestors speaking in the wind and in the trees. You start to have dreams that are so vivid that you wake up going, yes, I got to go to the water, and and offer tobacco and apologize for being mad at the river for taking my little sister or my cousin, a long time ago. So we do a lot of that. We'll go and do that. So these ceremonies are so sacred, and I really recommend anybody who's tuning in to have a chance to go to the White Eagle Sundance in Elsipogtog, Big Cove First Nation. It's at the full moon of every, which is towards the end of the month and stuff. So, but there's protocols. You can't go there, after partying, and you have to be drug and alcohol free. Somebody will greet you there and tell you what you can wear and what you can't wear, even as a spectator. You have a chance to do flesh offerings. It's just so sacred. I could go on just on that ceremony, but I totally honor the Sundance female and male leaders that do that. And so the feathers, and of course they carry fans. They earn fans, not just feathers. So it's a symbol of earning the right to carry one. So you have to carry yourself in a respectful manner. So July are those times you'll see celebrations, you'll see powwows, you'll see Sundance ceremonies, fasting, etc. So yeah. So in the next month, we call it Gubwaji Gizos, moon in which the leaves begin to fall. And of course for the Mi'kmaq they call it fruit and berry ripening moon. And so in August as well, on the Kachibamausawaganal, sacred ways of life, August is it's autumn. And so in autumn is when you start to see the leaves begin to change, and also begin to change colors and stuff, so one of the